Hey, yo, friends!
Welcome back to
Cardboard Friends.
Indeed, we are back here again with another Dynasty TCG video day. I know it's not Thursday, it's Friday this week, so I guess whenever you're looking out for Dynasty TCG videos, it's going to be Thursdays or Fridays.
You know, we're mixing things up a little bit.
Whenever we can. But today, we have episode 0.2 for you because we don't have any product yet, so we can't dive into the first episode just yet of going into the cards and figuring out how to play. So we're doing episode 0.2 where we sit down and watch the beginner's guide video with you guys. We are now even smaller than before. Look at that. We're small cam and you just see all the... Is it this way? It's this way. You see all the YouTube stuff.
Oh.
Yep. Let us watch this first episode or this beginner guide episode together. You ready? Well, you have no choice because we're doing it anyway. So look at that. Look at what pops up next. You should watch that, by the way, if you haven't yet.
Welcome to this quick overview of how to play Dynasty TCG. These are some of the things that we'll be covering in this video. Please make sure to read the full rulebook to understand the full mechanics. This video is for beginners to get a quick understanding of how to play. Now without further ado, let's begin the video.
Let's do this.
The aim of the game is to reduce your opponent's life from 50 to 0.
Who knew?
To begin a game, you need to shuffle a deck of 50 to 60 cards thoroughly, place it in your deck zone, then using a method of you and your opponent's choice, decide who will play first.
So cool.
Every turn there are 4 different phases: standby, draw, skirmish, and end. Let's learn about them. During the standby phase, this is where units that are reinforcing go back to their original zones and any effects that need to resolve. During the draw phase, this is where you draw cards.
So that first phase is kind of pretty much like the upkeep phase in Magic the Gathering, I guess, if you want to compare the two.
Where you untap all of your stuff. And
you untap and anything that resolves in your upkeep phase, it resolves. And then you got your draw phase, which is like Magic.
Draw phase.
And also, the resources return back to 10. The skirmish phase is where you
That's right. So one cool thing about this game is that both you and your opponent start off with 10 resources, which is like your mana or your lands. Every turn, you both only get 10 resources. So that goes into like having to be strategic with how you use your resources.
Chess-wise.
That's another thing, like chess.
Where units conduct battle, move units, retreat, and any other action listed in the rulebook. These actions take place in any order that you like. At your end phase, any effects that need to resolve at the end phase, resolve, and also this is when you pass the turn to your opponent so they can start their phases.
Also like Magic.
To conduct battle, you just declare an attack. Your opponent has options to either move units based on effects or retreating units.
Hopefully again based on effects.
Here we can see the game map is divided into different zones.
This is the
really interesting part of the playmat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of different zones.
It is a very big playmat, but it is all like there's a lot of use to it in what you're doing and what you can do on your turns with this battlefield and how things work and stuff. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna go into a little bit more of how things work in this video, so I don't want to spoil too much.
Deck zone is where you place your deck. Discard pile is where you put cards that you've played or units that are defeated in battle into the discard pile. Trade center is where you trade cards for resources. Environment zone is where you place environment cards. The retreat zone is where you send your troops when you want to retreat them from battle. In the game there are a variety of cards. We have normal unit cards, which is the Keen Recruit here. Then we have the Shen, who is a champion card, much stronger. And then the level up version of that champion, Shen the Rising Dragon. We have supplementary cards, which are items, orders, structures, and then finally, environment cards that go in this zone right there.
Right there.
Every turn you are given resources that you use to play cards.
just as we were saying earlier.
At the beginning of the game, when you have your initial hand, if there are cards that you do not like, you may shuffle them back into the deck and draw the same amount.
Which I like. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's...
That you keep the cards that you want, shuffle them back into your library, and then pull the cards. That's...
Pull the same amount, but I think you only do it once. Mulligan only once. And then I think there's some things that your opponent's allowed to do after if you do mulligan.
Yeah, but usually with mulligan, you just discard your hand and draw.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
Yeah.
No, like for normal Magic.
For Magic,
you get a whole new set of 7, you know?
Yeah.
If you can't play that.
Whereas this, you get to choose,
which is super interesting.
It's
excited.
I feel like that'll make games go faster for sure and more interesting, definitely.
At the end of every turn, you have a maximum of 7 cards allowed in your hand. At the end phase, if you have more than 7, you must shuffle any extras back into your deck.
So they don't get discarded too.
After searching your deck for a card, or just searching to have a look, you must shuffle your deck thoroughly. When you play an effect of a unit or an order card, your opponent may react by playing a card whose effect resolves first. When you hit the required...
So it's kind of like the stack in Magic, I guess. That last tidbit, you say that's like the stack in Magic, so... Right.
Meant for the level up of a champion, you can search your hand, deck, or discard pile for the copy of the battle champion and place it on top of your base champion. When your unit has been targeted for an attack,
you can also just play it. You can just play it regularly, like if you have the leveled up version in your hand, but it's only for its base stats though, you don't get its effects. It's better to level up your champions, although is it faster? I don't know, honestly. It's still gotta play the game to figure out what strategies work best. If leveling up works best or just playing it straight out works best, so let's see.
You may choose to pay the resources of that card and send it to the retreat zone. You start off in Retreat Zone 1, and on your draw phase, you move it to Retreat Zone 2. On the next draw phase, you can then place the card back into your hand. Trading can only be done once per turn, but is a very fun mechanic where you can increase your base resources. All you do is place any card into the trade center, and then you gain those resources to play with.
The resources at the top left of the card.
Yeah, and that is a mechanic that I don't think I've seen in any other card game, so that's actually a really cool mechanic. I'm pretty sure the way that the Trade Center worked before was different compared to how it is now. Now I guess you just put cards in the Trade Center for resources, whereas before you could actually like bring stuff back from the discard pile. That's interesting. It's kind of different.
A normal deployment is where you pay resources to play a unit card onto a field. A heavy deployment is where you use the resource cost of an already deployed unit on the field as partial payment for another card.
Dang!
Unit ranges range from 1 all the way through to 5. They are used to target enemy units and give you a depth of strategy. All units are able to move in the corresponding ways that will be shown in this short clip. Units cannot move onto your opponent's side of the field and cannot move into a zone that a unit is already in.
So that's also like chess, where you can actually move the cards in the middle of battle. Their work corresponding to like the type of card it is determines how that card moves. So kind of like the pieces in chess, like what piece that is determines
Rook.
How it moves. Like how rook is diagonal, knights are
L-shaped, and then
pawns only move 1, or you can move it 2 if it's the first
castles
move.
only move front back.
Yeah, stuff like that.
When a unit of yours is being attacked, you may rotate a supporting unit and put it on top of the card to absorb any damage that your primary unit was going to take. Uniting is where you have the combination of 3 units in the same lane combine their attacks into one super strong assault. There are 5 lanes on the field, and only one battle can take place on each lane. Units attack in lanes and defend in lanes. Okay, that's a quick overview of how to play the game. If you want to learn more and get the rulebook, head to the website, link will be below. If you also want to play the game online and you have Tabletop Simulator, we have a mod, link is down in the description to head to that.
Check it out.
Lastly, we want to say thank you to our supporters Bill Weston, Jesse, Cheese3 Crackers, and Chris H for being supporters of Dynasty TCG.
Shout out to those people, especially Cheese3 Crackers. I've talked to Cheese3 Crackers and they're pretty cool dudes, so shout out to Cheese3 Crackers. That's the video. Hopefully that gives you guys... hold on. Let's make us big again.
Hopefully that gives you an overview of how the game is played. We are just getting into things as well. Definitely an interesting...
There's also... That video was very quick too, so like I feel like maybe we could watch another video that goes even more into depth before we go into things, or we might do that on our own, because I feel like when the series comes up and we start actually playing the game for you guys, we're just gonna be discussing all those rules for you guys. So basically, depending on when we get product will depend on what kind of videos we'll be putting out. So there's a chance that there might be a week or two before we post anything else after this, so just to give you guys a heads up, there might be a little bit of gap of content on Thursdays and Fridays.
We'll figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
what the plan is moving forward.
We're still setting things up. I'm not even entirely sure I'm getting this video out this week. Who knows? Hopefully this is out this week, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that there might be a gap in content on Thursdays and Fridays for the TCG thing, and that's just because we're
hammering things out.
Yeah, we're getting things finalized and whatnot.
Dinks, danks, and dots.
Other than all of that, we have an eBay that you should check out if you like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe even
other
Naruto.
Stuff.
So go check that out.
Description below.
Link in the description below. There's also other platforms you could follow us on.
We got Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok, which follow us on there before it leaves. And
I mean, is it really left?
It might. Who knows? Hit the bell
button,
and subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite TCG is, and if you're excited for this one, to learn how to play this one, or if you have downloaded the Tabletop Simulator already and tried it out for yourself, let us know.
We got one thing to say at the end. Anything else? I don't think so.
I believe that's everything.
I think that's everything.
But
most importantly,
y'all,
take care
and have a beautiful day. Goodbye.